Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled I am so sick of being asked if I work here. I am a field service technician who has multiple contracts with Lowe's and Dollar General. Every single time I am asked if I work there, it's always at the most annoying or the most obvious moment that I don't work there. This is just one example why I loathe these people. I am in Lowe's in lawn and garden, standing in front of a completely torn down register. Parts are everywhere. Laptop is pulled out and I am looking over documents. I am wearing a Rick and Morty shirt and have earbuds in my ear. Lowe's employees, for those unaware, wear red or camo green vests and are not allowed to have earbuds in. Lady stands in front of me and I ignore her. She proceeds to ahem. I ignore her. I'm mid-conversation with another tech saying that it's really frustrating being asked if I work here and getting interrupted. She then taps me and tells me she's ready to be rang up. I ignore her and continue my conversation. The whole time the actual employee is trying to get her attention. She gets frustrated and I just point behind her. She sees the employee, rolls her eyes and walks away. I know someone's gonna say, well, you could have just told her you don't work here. But the thing is that doesn't always work. I have had people ask for a manager because I refuse to help them. I have learned that silence is golden. Ignore them and eventually they will figure it out. I genuinely wish more people had situational awareness. How these people survive is a damn mystery to me. The next story is titled I'm not moving those carts. I am a tech that works on electrical equipment. I was wearing a gray uniform with a hard hat. My company's logo is in green in front of my hard hat and shirt. I'm working at a certain site and went on lunch break. Bought some small tools from a nearby Home Depot and a burrito from a taco truck in the same area. I went to sit down on a bench near the parking lot to eat my burrito. Some customer from Home Depot came out and walked over to me. Hey, there's none of the big carts near the store, you should move some. I recognized immediately what was happening and will usually only say those glorious words once. Oh no miss, I don't work here. She just stands in front of me. I take another bite of my burrito. She points at the carts. Me. That wasn't my cart, I was only buying small tools. Lady. I know you're on your lunch break but someone needs to move those. Me. You, too, can make a difference. Lady. What? What are you talking about? Can you just move those? No. She stands there for like a solid minute. I'm going at it with my burrito. She walks away. I thought that was the end of it. I'm grabbing my backpack and about to walk away. Lady comes out with some poor soul roped into her antics. Got you now, you lazy jackass. This guy is refusing to do his job. Can't believe people like you wanted $15 an hour. Whatever employee came out with her, he's not our employee, ma'am. Lady. Why didn't you say something? I was gonna say I did, but I was already on a schedule and walking away. Not my first rodeo. The next story is titled Was More Helpful Than the Lowe's Employees. Years ago, a new Lowe's opened in my town and my coworkers and I, IT guys, would go to lunch at the nearby fast food places and then spend the rest of our lunchtime wandering around in the new Lowe's just to see what they had and how everything was laid out. As you know, Lowe's employees typically wear a red vest, over business casual dress plus a lanyard with their ID badge. Well, it didn't take long until we would be walking down an aisle as a group, 4 or 5 of us, and someone would walk up and ask us where to find certain items. Since we had been wandering the store, we had a pretty good idea where things were, and since most of the guys with me were from the PC support desk, we had no problem telling them where something was if we knew. Some even mentioned that they had asked another employee and they didn't know, as it was still a very new location. After this continued to happen, we started wondering why so many people were asking us for assistance. Then it clicked. We were dressed in business casual with lanyard with our badges on, so the only thing we were missing was the vest. So, after that we always took our badges off when entering the store and the requests for assistance stopped. This all happened back in the very early 2000s, so I don't think I don't work here lady or Karens even existed yet. The next story is titled A Brief Encounter at a Pizza Hut. This happened earlier tonight. I was heading home from work, and as my family and I were all getting off late, we decided to get pizza. We live across the street from a Pizza Hut and so decided we could get carryout and I could grab it on my way in. For context, I work fast food and my uniform is red t-shirt, jeans, and hair pulled back with optional red hat. Tonight I was wearing a safety vest over my shirt as a precaution. After confirming with family on all the pizzas, I head in and place the order. I'm told it's gonna be 15 minutes and I sit in a chair. As I'm waiting, a guy comes in and on instinct, I glance up curiously. We can call him Martin, not real name. Martin looks at me. Order for pickup. He says, to which I smile and show my shirt. Sorry. I don't work here. Just waiting. I said, chuckling. Martin does a little bow. Oh. I'm so sorry. I wave it off. No worries. Another one for the subreddit. I said happily. And that was that. He got his pizza and said bye and would look for the post. So, guy in glasses and a blue shirt at Pizza Hut, howdy. Hope you have a great week. Edit. If anyone wants to read this on a video, message me first. The next story is titled I'll Park Where I Want to. I live in Michigan, and we get a lot of snow. Snow that needs to be shoveled, so that we can use our sidewalks and driveways. After a snowstorm that left about 9 inches on the ground, my mother decided that she would be coming over to my house for something. I knew my driveway had to get shoveled for her. As I went outside, I noticed a car parked on the street blocking my driveway. The entitled male driver, M, was waiting for his child to get out of the junior high school, on the next block, to give him a ride home so that the poor kid wouldn't have to slog his way home through all that snow, insert eye roll here. And since I'm out shoveling, the kid can just use my clean sidewalk and driveway to gain access to the car. So I signaled to M that he needs to move as this is my driveway. M opens his newspaper and proceeds to read it, totally ignoring me. So I start shoveling. 15 minutes later, about halfway through my shoveling, I stop and try to get M's attention again by knocking on his window. M looks at me, then goes back to his newspaper. Frustrated, I go back to shoveling. Then I got the awesome idea. I took the next shovelful of snow and, instead of throwing it over to the grass on the side of the driveway, I threw the entire load onto his front windshield. M looked up, I ignored him, and threw a second shovelful of snow onto his car. M started yelling at me, so I just shrugged my shoulders and signaled him to move his car. After some choice words, he did. My mother was able to pull into my driveway about 10 minutes later. I have absolutely no idea where M finally parked to pick up his child. Not my monkey, not my circus. The next story is titled You're Not an Abusive Ass? Let me help you. One of my first jobs, in the 90s, was as the switchboard operator for one department at an investment firm. It was a weirdly complicated place that for some reason had like 5 different phone numbers that all went straight to me. And every broker desk had a direct line that would bounce to me if they didn't answer. There was no individual voicemail except for execs. Naturally, the wrong number potential was devastating. I caught poop from brokers and clients from every direction for being the switchboard. One of our many useless contact numbers was previously assigned to AARP, American Association of Retired Persons, and daily, I had an expectation of one or more of. I was retarded, I was mean, I hated the elderly. Did I know how old the caller was? How dare I be located in another state? And so many more. After a while I started telling them to take it up with their phone company or AARP corporate. In case you wonder why I didn't just hang up, let me assure you, they'd call back many times. And also some less mature things like, you can't complain about me if you can't reach the right company, haha, and, weren't you notified? AARP revokes membership for people who are verbally abusive. Sassing the abusive, greatest generation was the only thing that kept my Gen X self going some days. Now the positive part. It turned out another of our toll-free numbers had been assigned to the Huntington's Disease Foundation. In case anyone's unfamiliar, Huntington's is a devastatingly debilitating, always fatal genetic syndrome. The foundation linked those with the disease and their families to specific resources including support groups. Those wrong number callers were so nice and were never surprised I wasn't in the same state as them, thank God. I genuinely felt terrible that they didn't have updated contact for support for their family. So I looked up the foundation's general number, called it, and asked what number I could give out. The head of the foundation sent a letter to my company's CEO, who had no idea who I was. thanking me for being an amazing human being whom they were lucky to have working for them. It was hilarious to see the confusion on the CEO's face when he tracked me down to show me the letter. He asked why I even took the time to do it, and I had to legit explain kindness to basically Ebenezer Scrooge. I didn't even know he was the CEO until he introduced himself, and I never saw him again afterward. Honestly, being able to help with that made me hate my job a little less for a couple of months before I bailed. Not a really outrageous story, but there you go. The next story is titled On This Day I Learned. Don't wear red to Target stores. This happened this near past Monday of posting this. 'Tis the sneezin', and my allergies are acting up. They were so bad on Monday that my eyes were irritated as all get out, and my right eye felt like someone threw sand into it. I was just miserable. I work next to a Target, so with my boss's blessing I head over next door on my break to find something for my eyes, especially since I appeared high enough to Brofist Jupiter. That and working in customer service is not a good look, even if I don't do the puff. I toddle next door, grab some eye drops, and new eyeliner since I didn't want to take the chance that it could be an infection, and sidle into a short line at the registers. I am part of day-to-day operations in my store, so I still had on my earpiece plus radio combo talking to my coworkers and answering questions. I'll be about 5 more minutes on my break. From behind me in an escalating tone, "Excuse me." This impatient lady then pushed her cart into my back, attempting to push me out of the way. I need to get through. The push wasn't enough to knock me off my feet, but still enough to make me need to steady myself. I was confused. Really confused. I didn't move, partially turned to look at her. For what? The woman shot me a look of horror that anyone would talk to her like I did. She couldn't have been much older than myself, and I am in my early 40s. I'm next and you're in my way. I could not digest the vitriol from this woman in this very short time. I'm making a purchase, ma'am. I hold up my hand with the eye drops and eyeliner. You work here. You can check out at any time. She pushed her cart more into me. Now, I have the luxury of wearing a more casual uniform in the form of a general unisex tee. That's colored red. On this day, matched the allergy-irritated whites of my eyes. But, really? What is this logic I am being confronted with? I feel like garbage. I still had 6.5 hours left of work, and now I have this audacity to deal with. Over it. I fully turned to face her, bumping and pushing back into the front of the cart with an equivalent amount of force she was using against me, and using that as the only space between here and I pointed at the logo embroidered on the chest. I gave my most soft, Princess Y stern voice and said very slowly, "I don't work here." I never broke eye contact with the woman nor moved off of the offending cart, while I beeped through my radio talking to a coworker in my regular tone of voice. Down fine arts on the left-hand side, one of the middle sections under the last pencil display. Maybe I just looked mad crazed because of my eyes being so red, and at this point, fairly angry. She lowered her gaze, huffed and pulled her cart back off of me. My question: how often does this behavior actually work with any retail employees with this person? If someone is next in line, then, obviously, they are next in line, employee or not. This is a life lesson about being a good human being we all should have learned in kindergarten. I get to the register, and the Target cashier asked me for my employee card. Oh, I work next door. The cashier, who may or may not have witnessed what happened behind her. Oh, that's unfortunate, coming in here with a red shirt. I tilt my head toward the lady and raised my brows. Yep. I've already been mistaken. Lesson learned. The cashier let out an almost guttural sputter laugh. The lady behind me, who started putting her cart full of items on the belt, was clearly grumpy by our exchange with furrowed brows and pursed lips. I ran my debit card, put my purchase in my pocket, wished the cashier a fantastic day, and headed back next door. The next story is titled Old Lady at the Dollar Store. So this happened about 7 or 8 years ago now, but it's a good story, so I think it fits perfectly here. So I worked at a retirement home as the head waiter for 9 years. I worked for way too long for not enough money, but I just loved those old folks. At this retirement home there was a lady, we'll just call her the warden Bequasse. She used to be a prison warden, and you could tell. Everything, and I mean everything, had to be her way or there would be hell to pay. Now this lady had real bad representative for being rude to everyone because she thought she was in charge. She'd yell at management, other residents, and oh my poor wait staff. I remember when I turned 18 I got my first tattoo, an amazing rib piece I might add. Love ya Jess. The warden calls me over to her table after dinner and say, "So I heard you got a tattoo op." I replied, "Yes I did mama." The warden say, "Well let me see it then." So I show her being the dumb 18-year-old kid. She looks me dead in the eyes and says, "Well op, I hope it gets infected. I hope you never go to college, and I hope you die." Me being a smart ass just looked at her and said, "AWWE I love you too warden." Also multiple times the warden was insanely racist. One time she even pointed at all the black wait staff and asked which ones are on welfare. We had a actual Nazi as in fought on the Russian front Nazi who was nicer and less racist than her. But now to the story. So I'm at the Dollar Tree just down the road from the home, back in the good old days when at the Dollar Tree everything only cost $1. Damn extra 25 cents is BS. And I start walking down an aisle and who do I see? The warden. I try to keep my head down but it's too late, she's already noticed me. She starts yelling, "Oh it's you. Well help me get this off the shelf and carry my basket Bekwase none of these. Insert derogatory term for black people. Here are going to help me." I stop, look at her and am like she's just a crazy old lady with only hate keeping her alive, so I'll be nice and get the thing off the shelf for her. So I grab the item off the top shelf and say, "Here you go warden." She looks at me, pushes her basket into me and says, "Op I know you're unless but I told you to carry my stuff not hand me something. You might be as stupid as these, insert derogatory term for black people, but you don't have to act like them too." This is when I realize I am not at work ATM. I look at her and say, "Warden you know I do not work here. I don't have to do anything for you and I sure as hell don't have to put up with your racism. Now I'm going to say it again, we are not at work, so unless you want to hear what I really think about you I would just stop." She starts with, "But you do work for me." I look at her and say, "No mama, I work for the community you live in and you don't treat people like we're a community, and honestly if you keep treating people like this I think they should throw you out of it, and then where will you go Bekwase? We both know your daughter sure as hell won't let you live with her." She just looks shocked and say, "You, insert derogatory term for black people, PS I am white. I'm going to tell your boss and I am going to have you fired." I just look at her and walk away. I counted to work that for another 7 years shed give me a idiot face every day. It really made me feel good inside. Peas, that was just one bad apple. Most of the people there were a delight and I loved spending time with them. Not all old folks are horrible evil idiotes, but there are some out there. The next story is titled Wait, You're Not a Teacher? Backstory. I'm a 19-year-old male in a high school district program for special needs. I have high-functioning autism, where when you graduate from your high school you have an option to have your diploma withheld and get some work experience through an internship program via the district. Learn how to live on your own, cooking, cleaning, laundry, taxes, ECT, workplace technology, making a resume, looking for jobs, ECT, and job labs, food cart, grocery store, janitorial, and copy center. Work a supported worksite, having a teacher as a supervisor at an internship with other interns, and an independent worksite, where a teacher isn't present at an internship and you're on your own with just the store employees. Then get to VR, vocational rehabilitation. Once you have graduate from that, and get to go to a college, university of your choice which is paid through the state. You can also get a job from the worksites. Now on to the story. So earlier today I was in a job lab, copy center, taking a work order to a teacher at the high school the program is based at. By that time lunch had ended and I was going upstairs when 3 girls were talking about something not school appropriate. Don't remember what it was about. When all of a sudden they saw me and freaked out and were like, "Oh crap." And I was like, WTF? In my mind, and one of them said, "Sorry sir. I'm more holier than this," and then it clicked. They thought I was a teacher, and like the usual brutality honestly person I am, I said, "You do know that I'm a student, right? I have a short beard and wear a 3-piece suit." And they said, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm in, insert name, program." They were stunned. After that I said, "Have a good day," then walked away. That little interaction made my day today and made me feel like I was very important in my community. I will remember that for the rest of my life, and will treasure this story. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.